Hey friends, my name is Aubrey Guerin and I'm a Diamond Ambassador with Plexus. If you are watching this, it means that you want to grow in your skills of recruiting. And I am so excited to kick this off for you today because I know that if you will follow these tips, if you will listen, learn, and take action consistently, then you are going to become a better recruiter. Need I say, even a rock star recruiter. Now, how do I know this? Well, I'm speaking from experience. There have been multiple years in my time with Plexus that I have been one of the top 10 recruiters in the company. And I don't say that to brag. I say that to tell you that I had no sales experience prior to Plexus. There were plenty of years in the beginning that I was not one of the top recruiters. However, recruiting as the first pillar of the 4 pillars of Plexus is a skill, and you can learn to be really good at recruiting. I know because I've done it and I've taught other people to do it. And I'm so excited for you guys to get to hear all these amazing tips from all these jewels that have learned the skill of recruiting. So today, I get to kick this off, and what I want you to understand is that recruiting, like everything else in Plexus, is a system. It's a process. And I really like analogies, so I'm going to tell you how recruiting is like doing laundry. Now, some people say that recruiting is like a recipe, and the problem with a recipe is it's like you do this, then you do this, then you do this, then you have beautiful brownies. But with Plexus and with recruiting, it's not always like do this, this, and this, and then you've got brownies. It's more like some kind of never-ending process, like laundry. And I like the analogy of laundry because there's a lot of women in Plexus, and laundry, especially the never-ending cycle of laundry, is something we can all relate to. So here's a little bit about the laundry cycle, and then I'll tell you how that applies to your Plexus business. Let's imagine, for example, that we're talking about the cycle of socks. So in my house, the sock cycle starts with buying socks. So we have socks in the drawer. Then the socks get worn, and after that, they're supposed to get put in the laundry basket, from which point I will take them and put them in the washing machine, then the dryer, then I fold them, then I put them back in the drawer. That would be the ideal laundry process. But what happens is there are parts of that process that don't happen, or at least not the way they're supposed to. The boys in my house take off the socks, leave them wherever they are at the time, and then the dogs or the cats or both take them away, hide them, put holes in them, whatever. So they don't even all make it to the washing machine. Then the ones that do make it to the washing machine and then the dryer, somehow when I'm taking them out of the dryer, some of them are missing. I don't even know what happens, but they're not always there. And then not as many get put back into the drawer. Now here's the thing with the laundry process. Let's say that I really don't like drying things. I just really don't like it, so I'm not going to do it. How would my husband feel if I washed the socks and then put wet socks in the drawer because I just didn't like drying them? I don't think he'd like wet socks. What about if, like I said, the socks get carried away by the animals and they never make it in the washing machine? Are there going to be socks in the drawer the next day? Probably not. Or my favorite, I really just hate washing. I think I'm going to skip the washing machine altogether because I just don't like the way it looks. I don't like the way the washing machine makes me feel. I don't like the sound it makes. It's cringy. So I'm just going to put the socks straight into the dryer. That doesn't work either. Now here's how this applies to your Plexus business. The first part of the process is having people in your network, adding people in your network, adding new friends. The second part is building relationships with those people. That can include things like private messaging, connecting with people in person, posting and building relationships, all those things. That's step 2. Step 3 is sending an ask message of some sort. Step 4 is follow up. And step 5 is closing the deal. And then step 6 is customer care, including trying to get them to duplicate and share and starting the process all over again. Now, I know some people that say, you know what? I really like relationship building. I just don't like asking people. I mean, if they're interested, they'll ask me. So I'm just going to skip the ask and see what happens. Well, guess what happens? Just like if I said, I don't like the way the washing machine feels, or I don't like drying things. I really don't like that lint that gets out of the dryer. It makes me uncomfortable. So I'm just not going to dry things. Well, if you skip one part of the laundry process, you don't have good laundry at the end. If you skip a part of the Plexus recruiting process, you're not going to have the results you want either. You can't just skip the ask because you feel uncomfortable. You also can't just skip relationship building because you're not a people person. You have to do all the parts. You have to do them over and over again, sometimes concurrently. That's why it's not like a recipe to me. It would be like making hundreds of brownies at once in about 100 different ovens, but you do have to be building relationships all the time. You do have to be sending asks with the people that you've recently built relationships with. And you got to follow up. Not following up would be like not drying anything, because if you never take anything out of the washing machine and then you never dry it, everything stops right there in the washing machine and it gets moldy. That's what happens if you don't follow up. Your relationships get moldy. Your asks get moldy. So I hope you understand that, like the laundry cycle, the recruiting cycle is a system of steps that have to be followed and continued to be able to have success in recruiting. And what you're going to have through the rest of this session is those steps broken down and talked about in more detail so that you can be successful at each step in the process. And what you're going to find is some of these things you're amazing at. My yellows out there, my high eyes on the disc, you guys love relationship building. That is your forte. Lean into that. Build really great relationships, but don't forget that you can't help people if you don't ask them about Plexus, because most people are not going to come to you. Even if they're watching you, you will be shocked how many people will actually say, hey, I was thinking about this, or hey, I was interested, but they're not going to ask you first. You have to ask them. My reds, my high Ds, you can ask people. You're great at asking people. But you got to build that relationship first. You got to add value. You've got to get to the point where they're even willing to listen to you. Okay? So you can't skip that relationship building part. Now, some of you guys may really feel awkward adding people to your network. Some of you may not have an idea at all how to add people to your network. So you got to do that part too. Because not adding people to your network would be like at my house, where I don't buy new socks, and then eventually they've all disappeared or been eaten by the dogs. Some of them are probably under the bed, but do I really want those? Probably not. I want to add some new socks to the process, and that's what you got to do. You have to be adding new people all the time to have people to funnel through the system. Okay? So again, those parts of the process are adding new people to your funnel, building new relationships, okay? Adding new people to your network. And we're going to talk more about where to find those people and how to do that in the next week. Step 2, that's building relationships. The fastest way to build relationships is to add value. Add value through your posting. Add value through your private messaging. Add value through your in-person connections. Add value all the time. Always be thinking, how can I add value to someone today? And you'll build relationships, I promise. Step 3, that is the ask. That's the scary part for a lot of people. But remember, you got to ask. You have to ask. And we're going to help you know how to do good quality asks, okay? Step 4 is follow up. F's. I like alliteration. Step 4 is follow-up, and you're going to be learning more about smart follow-up. And remember, the fortune is in the follow-up. The reason that I'm a diamond and some people are not diamonds yet is literally because you just got to follow up with more people. And one of the reasons I'm a diamond is because I've heard no more than most people, because I've followed up and I've said asks more than most people, all right? Then step number 5 is closing the deal. We're going to teach you how to close the deal, how to ask for the sale, and how to get out of that follow-up relationship mode. Finally, you know that after we close the deal, you're going to have to do good customer care. And guess what? We're not going to talk about that. But I did an entire video series for the whole month of May about customer care. And you can refer to that or ask your Jewel to help you find that. It's in the Jewels of Excellence page. And that will help you with customer care, which will also help you with duplication. And stay tuned, because in a month coming soon, to a Facebook near you will be a series on duplication. So I hope you guys have a fantastic July, and I want you to know 100% that recruiting is a skill that anybody can learn. And if you follow these steps, if you pay attention to these videos, you are going to come out of July a stronger, better, more efficient recruiter, more confident recruiter than ever. All right, so call to action for today. I want you to talk to your upline and tell your upline how many people you are committed to recruiting this month, how many level 1s you are committed to recruiting as you learn these skills. Because as you're going to learn in the next video on July 3rd, you need to speak positivity into your business. And if you claim it, if you speak it, you are so much more likely to achieve it. So call to action. Go comment here, share with your upline, share with your sponsor how many people you are committed to recruiting in July. Have a great day.